Hello, and welcome to the Hunt Banish Extract podcast, brought to you today by Alice Farms Bayou Baked Neck Oatmeal, the only breakfast food that comes back up 4 times before it finally stays down and is fully cooked in 2 minutes. Today, our
Yum.
beautiful co-hosts are Sleepy Weasel, aka Tyler,
Oni-chan.
Sir Kaiser, aka Richard,
I'm still a simp for Banish Flakes.
And that's it. And that's it.
And then
Except
we have
for
our
himself,
empty
so.
chairs. How many empty chairs do we got today?
Today we have 3.
All right.
If you're wondering where the Drunken Bard, Sir Reednick, and No Mortal Z are today, they're currently on a mission to get a Chad Kroger to agree to become a Kane variant, and they said they won't rest until it happens, so they'll be back for the next one.
I thought they were trapped in a new basement.
No.
This is our cover story.
Well,
Unfortunately, Bard.
It's not my basement.
Unfortunately, Bard. He's actually. He always visits his grandmother's grave. This is her anniversary of her death, and it's very unfortunate. And he always takes time to himself.
In the bayou?
Yeah. That
I'd
got
like
really dark. That's not true
I'd
at
like
all.
to die like my grandma, sleeping peacefully
I was
instead
just
of
like, where
screaming
are
like
you
everybody
going
else in
with
the
this?
car.
I was
I
like,
like
where
to
are
die
you
like
going
my
with
grandma,
this? I wanna...
considering they're both still alive. So.
That got really dark, and then it just like doesn't even make a joke after.
So
Right.
I
Shout out
am
to
your
grandmas.
patron saint of 3 stars, Rat329, and I'm your host today because
I didn't know if I was going to be here.
yeah.
And I
So
wanted to give Mr. Rat a chance to take the lead.
This time.
My somewhat fellow controller player.
yeah, only somewhat. My controller is basically just a keyboard, so.
But it's still a controller, technically.
Yes.
So you're still
Technically.
Hold
safe.
it in your
And-
hands.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that distant cousin that like nobody really talks about. He kind of shows up every once in a while when he gets bail.
He's very special. He's like gifted, but he can like picture everything and then draw it really quickly.
What are you trying to say?
He
That
learns
sounds
some
like
shit
me.
in the
It's got that photographic memory,
Yeah, you're just describing me, man.
All
Just
right.
kidding.
You're very
Anyways.
special there.
Thank you.
Yeah, extremely special. Just don't know
Proceeds
who the
to
fuck this Ed
pound
guy
head
is.
on the table.
I mean, playing this game, I absolutely do feel like doing that a lot. So
All right, Rat. What do you
I mean,
got for us
only in the
today?
recent months.
yeah, seriously.
So we've had about 3 months now of the new trait system, wherein a new trait has been introduced and others have been combined. Just a quick refresher on that: the traits that were added, or trait, is Martialist, which gives the unique sheath attack for katanas that costs no stamina.
Cha-ching.
And then the ones that were changed was Scopesmith, where they just combined all 3 of the Scopesmith, and it costs 2. Steady Aim, where they've combined Steady Aim and Steady Hand, which also costs 2. Iron Eye, where all of the iron traits have been combined, and that costs 3. 100 Hands, where they just made a bow trait and gave us 100 Hands and Dewclaw in the same trait, as they should have
Forever
from the
ago.
beginning.
Yep.
And they took Tomahawk and just kind of fucking threw it into Assailant.
Yeah, I think personally all of
They're just
those
trying to
particular
condense.
changes, I think those are all good. I'm happy for all
it
of
was
those.
getting too crowded, so they wanted to do that. So
Yeah.
Agreed. And Martialist was like everybody was really worried about it. I don't think it's as big of a deal as it was being
No.
made out
No,
to be.
I
No.
never see people run katanas. I still see
It's
people
a-
running baseball bats. So
Well, clearly you don't play with Element.
yeah.
haven't for a while. We've been playing Warframe, so
Yeah, that man
Yeah, but more on
stands
the
the
Warframe.
katana.
good.
But yeah, so it's been a while since we last discussed the traits. I say we as if I was actually there. The first time you guys talked about it was like an episode before I showed up as a guest.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
during
don't
which I
remember.
was just yelling at my speakers on my way to work, listening to you guys. 'cause
I do
had-
remember you saying that, and you were like, "Thank God you guys let me join because I'm ready to just."
I'm ready to fucking scorch
Run it
earth
down.
about Necro because it's not as powerful as people think.
No, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think about like the current state of all the new traits, the burn traits, how that's all going? Because I know that a
think
lot of
it's all
people,
fine.
yeah,
I
a
think
lot of
it's
people were
fine.
worried about the burn traits.
I don't
I'm
think that's the problem with the game.
I
I don't
agree.
think
I
that's
I don't
got anything
really.
to do with it, if I'm being honest. I think they're great to add
I
the
th-
burn traits and to add like condensing everything into
It
each
it
trait.
re- it really shakes up the gameplay for sure. Like,
I think there's enough in this game for people to complain about already, and they're focusing on the stuff that's good. And so
I
I,
saw
it's
I
a
probably
mean,
comment.
probably Reddit. So
I mean,
I
all
saw a
these
comment
changes have
recently.
distracted people from the blood bond change. So
That's funny. I saw a comment recently. I think it was probably on their Facebook, YouTube, something. It was talking about the events, and someone basically said the events are kind of interesting, but they're getting kind of samey.
yeah,
Like we're doing the same thing over and over again. So they're gonna really have to revamp the events to make them different and feel like a reason to keep coming back. Because if we're being honest, those 3 events were the same, just with new stuff, and that's not enough to play a game
yeah,
yeah,
consistently.
they slightly changed the soul cairn
yeah.
thing
The
and just kind of
Karen?
changed it. Yeah, that's what it was called in Devil's Moon. The big like giant bloody vagina that was standing up everywhere.
Yo,
What?
Yeah, the
I'm so-
look up the Devil's
I know
Moon
what you're talking
thing.
about. I know
no,
what
he's
you're
Yeah, it
talking
was
he's
about.
talking about the
The altar.
effigies.
yeah,
effigies. Yeah,
yeah,
I
the
remember now.
Devil's Moon effigies. It was just a giant bloody vagina just kind of
Bro.
standing around.
I mean, I thought
Uh
they were cool, and I didn't need that image. Thank you. I'm gonna go wash my brain off.
Yeah.
so but they just kind of changed the skin on that, put them everywhere again, and we're like, we're gonna do the same
Mhm.
thing as
They
Devil's
did with the
Moon
Yeah,
skull,
they
or
did.
not skull,
for the
the
next.
spine. They called them spine altars or something like that.
Were they? I could
Right.
have sworn
Yeah.
they were called soul cairns.
I never seen that word before, if I'm being honest.
I don't remember about the past ones, but I know the most recent ones were the
It was
skull
a bone
altar
or a
or skull
spine.
or
I think it
spinal.
was
I think it was
spine.
spine altar. Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe you're correct.
kind of
So
looked like a spine.
yeah, they watched it. They watched a few episodes of Attack on Titan. They're like, yeah, we need to incorporate that into our game.
It's a
So-
fidget spinner.
Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking soul cairn. That's from fucking Skyrim.
Oh, maybe it's becoming too much like another game. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
No, it's
maybe we'll
definitely
die
not
one of
like
these
Skyrim.
days, and then as we wake up, we'll just wake up on a cart somewhere, and we'll be like, "God damn it, you did it again!"
Well, considering the way Skyrim leveling works, I can just become immortal and like fight 2 dragons at once and like not take any damage. So I'd be fine with that.
That is also true. But yeah, I mean, speaking of Necro, though, David Fifield did recently confirm that MMR is being changed and they're working on it so you don't move up or down as quickly and it can't be manipulated as easily using solo Necro.
Sure,
I
I'll believe it when I
really
see it.
hope that this means that they just remove the MMR handicap for solos.
I agree. I 100% agree. As a solo player, it just needs to be gone.
It's impossible to go up in MMR unless you play the Soul Survivor mode, and so I just want to fight people of my own skill level.
Yeah, and not people freaking abusing the system to wreck you later. Like that's ridiculous.
I really kind of hope they change it to like a 1 MMR decrease for like each time a new hunter kills you. So every time after that, if you solo Necro and get killed, it just doesn't count.
Just
I
hide
would
the
just
MMR.
reset the
Just
whole
hide
thing.
it. Yeah, just hide it. Like who cares?
Or, do something that, I don't know, like maybe a toggle to turn it off.
Well, they used to do that, but then they were
I
splitting
know.
up, and it didn't make any sense to anyone. I was like, should I do this one or this one? It didn't make any sense to me.
And if it had been explained a little better, I think it would have been fine.
I'm just glad they're actually realizing that yes, it's been a problem. It's been a problem for about a year, ever since they added like self revive, especially. That
I feel like we've
ruined
talked
the
way
game,
too much
but
about Necro on this podcast.
no, it's mostly me because I absolutely despise it. So That's my fault.
I don't like it either, but as we've said, the best fix is just let a solo revive once, and then that's it. And Necro with other people, like teammates, I don't find as big a deal. I think that's
No,
interesting.
it's for me. It's self revive that I don't like.
Self revive. Just let
Yeah.
them give it one chance, and if they mess up, whatever. Or maybe even two, because you know.
No,
I
I
would be
think
a
if-
little bit more balanced.
I think if they made it like a burn trait, like you can get Necro more than once, like spend the points to
get you.
buy it, like I think that would be fine too.
Yeah, but as we know, it's like already abused in its own right, though. So
Right,
that
yeah,
being said,
but
it
whatever. It's
depends.
here. It's here to stay. As much as I complain,
They've
it's
already
not going anywhere.
introduced it, so
Yeah.
I don't know. I've already, yeah.
See, and
Literally, I never use it. Like even if my character has it, I never self revive. I don't do it.
Yeah, it's like you forget about it, you know, because that's not really
yeah.
part of the
Well,
game.
there's that, and second of all, it's like, well, I died. I got my shit rocked. I'm not gonna, like, you know what I mean?
It was my one shot, you know. Mom's spaghetti, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ready.
It's ready. Hell yeah.
Go with a fork. It's done. But that does bring me to my next topic. The hunt does it's taking a interesting direction, I guess. I don't want to say it's a good or bad. Like, I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's something I would call good.
Not yet. Yeah.
Like, what do you guys think is in store for the game as time goes on? Like, you know, with the engine upgrade coming up sometime after April, I think is when quarter 2 starts. All the new guns being introduced, new servers hopefully coming soon.
Honestly, I really can't say good or bad at this point. We just have to wait. Like, I think obviously, and pretty much everybody is already expecting this. And if you're not, you should expect this. Obviously, when they drop the engine upgrade, the game's probably going to be unplayable for quite a bit. So just expect that.
I kind of have my own theory on that. Like, I think Hunt's just kind of doing the whole spaghetti method. It's just throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall before the engine upgrade happens to see what does and doesn't work. And hopefully they'll try to start somewhat fresh after the engine upgrade, like maybe remove some of the spammier weapons
without changing the game, right?
Yeah, do like a mass balancing update. Hopefully the engine upgrades also, like, this is my hope. I doubt it's going to happen. It's extremely unlikely. I kind of hope they bring back the destructible environments that was in Crisis 1. Like, let me shoot a hole through the wall and then use that as a peak point.
Yeah,
it is.
I think that would be great.
Though.
Or like if you're standing behind a thinner tree and you shoot it like 2 or 3 times with long ammo, that tree falls down. Now you've got to find new cover. I think that'd be awesome.
I think that would be great, honestly.
It would.
Do I think they're gonna add it? No.
Yeah, I doubt it too, but I think that would be the way to shake up gameplay that they've been trying to do.
Well,
that they just haven't quite nailed down with all these different changes and all the new guns.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, like if there's one thing that Crysis was known for, aside from making people's PCs burst into flames or wish for death,
because it's so beautiful.
It was the shooting trees to knock them down, buildings that take real damage, fire, like using physics to realistically spread, which I think would be so cool with the butcher fight. Let me have him set the building on fire.
It would be cool with any fight. It would make firebombs like viable again, like because that's another problem. Like,
and imagine like you're fighting the butcher, and now you almost have to choke at least one area because the fire's spreading and it's like filling the building. There's like, now it's cutting off areas to walk through.
Yeah.
You have to fight people while there's a fire spreading. Like, please.
Well, do you remember when I think we were talking about the economy in our Discord? Follow us at our Discord.
We will drop that in the description.
Yeah.
But essentially, like what I was saying is that you don't need necessarily destructibility would be a great thing to add, but I don't think it's in the cards for a game like this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
yeah.
Just the way they built it, and the only way that would happen is through the engine upgrade. But I'm We really just need more information before.
I doubt they're building the
that's
engine
even
from the ground
possible.
up, because they would have
Yeah.
to build the engine
No,
from
they
the
got to
ground
use
up.
the
Yeah,
assets, and they
we're
don't
going
want
from
to screw
5.6 to
themselves over.
5.11, so it's
Yeah.
the same engine. It's just a 4 years newer version of it.
Right. Yeah. So
exactly. It's just
it's
supposed to run a little bit
it
better.
still has the same
mostly.
source code. It still has
It's
the
gonna have
same
a different
patents.
UI though.
But
my just real quick, like my theory and my not even theory, but like my suggestion was basically like the biggest reason why I don't find it as fun is because there's not enough variety for me to keep coming back, and that's the thing about a lot of games. This has become more of that live service model in its own way. It's not exactly the same, but essentially, like that live service model, you need to update it consistently. And so my suggestion was like, instead of just doing the weather patterns or the different things that happen on there, like different parts of the map are destroyed, non-destroyed, like those towns. You have a building missing.
Yeah.
crashed
There's
down.
like variations of the same map, and the
Variations,
same
yes,
towns.
exactly,
Yeah.
and it's got
yeah,
more
have
RNG
it
than just where the tools and stuff are.
Yeah.
have it do like an RNG modular asset loading.
Mhm. Yeah, and they do that in so many different games, and I feel that like that's not asking too much, because if you're already loading the level, you have different versions of them.
Just do it in certain
And-
chunks, like tile
And
sets.
the thing is,
Like-
you don't even have to mess with the whole thing, like the rain or the ash or the fire, because all you're doing is you're changing this chunk, changing this chunk. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'm saying that
It's
you're going to
more
add that
doable.
variety. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more doable.
Yeah,
So
it vaguely reminds me of, like, to bring up Skyrim again, how they built the dungeons in that, where it was like they had different tile sets and they just kind of placed a bunch
Well,
of shit and mix and matched.
did you guys ever
Or
play?
Warframe.
Yeah, or Warframe.
Yeah, that's true. Remnant,
Yeah,
like
Remnant.
Remnant 2
Oh,
especially.
I did
so
not.
good. So good.
It's so good, but like essentially, like each person's world is procedurally generated, so they have similar things that are throughout, but essentially the map can be varied and things can be in varied areas, and different pathways lead to different ways. So it's similar, but you have so much variation. That's what makes that game really fun to keep playing and to keep grinding. Obviously, it's a very different type than like a shooter, but
Well, of course, yeah.
And the
that
reason
whole
I say
randomization is a good comparison.
Good starting
I guess.
point.
yeah,
Yeah.
that RNG world.
Yeah.
The reason I
exactly.
say just destructible environments is like the first CryEngine had it, and
Mhm.
they're
You're basing
they've
on
they've
that. Yeah.
upgraded it. Like they've upgraded everything since then. Like they've changed everything. I get that, but a destructible environment would at least shake up the gameplay just enough that every game still feels different. Because of how slow it is to get a new map, it might make those maps that we currently have feel a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, it would feel like more content when all they did was make
Yeah.
it so you can shoot a hole through a wall, and now you can use that hole to
And
peek.
I would love that whole idea. Like I love destructible environments in games. I think it's a really cool concept. I just think they've built it up so much to like this is this way and it doesn't change, and then it's like kind of like how you built a map in the old years of gaming. I guess I know,
Yeah.
so old, right? But but essentially the early 2000s, you just had like your Call of Duty maps that were just the same, and you just went to different
Yeah,
ones,
there's
but
more
they're
like
smaller
arcade
versions,
shooters,
so-
though.
yeah, exactly.
And
So essentially, I think it's built up like an arcade shooter, but this needs to adapt in some manner, and that's why I said, since I don't think it's in the cards to do a destructible,
yeah,
in the way that you're asking for,
yeah.
I think that just map variation, like make it more
Yeah.
random. would be a
Personally,
great option.
I think they should do both, but personally,
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think they're going to do either.
See, and for me, I think it would be kind of cool if they did it like not so much like fully destructible. Like I don't want to blow up entire walls and shit like that. But like
Mhm.
when I shoot a wall, I'd like to see a bullet hole. If
Yeah.
if that bullet
Yeah,
can
that
penetrate
reaction.
wood, yeah, if that bullet can penetrate wood, why is there not a hole in that wood that I can still kind of look through a little bit? If that bullet can penetrate metal, why is there not a hole there? So if they walk past that hole again, you can see that little shadow.
And that's what you're appreciating from the Cry engine itself, and basically be like, show me what the Cry engine is. Like that whole like joke. Does it run
Yeah, can it run
Crisis?
Crisis?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're not talking Red Faction Guerrilla where you can destroy the whole map, which was really cool, by the way.
Yeah, that is
But
cool.
You
you
could
know,
destroy the whole map with Crisis 2 or the first Crisis, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking more like the very first Far Cry or maybe the Far Cry 2 where they
Mm.
actually did get the fire physics. Because
Well, I
like
think
Yeah.
that would be really cool. Just shoot a hole through a wall, and now like if they run past it, there's a shadow, so you don't have to just keep doing guesswork.
mhm.
yeah, it narrows the playing field down.
Yeah.
And then if you still shoot metal, it would just dent the metal if it's not like a Spitzer round or FMJ. But if
Having
it's FMJ or Spitzer, it just punches that hole through that thinner metal.
What is this, Rainbow Six Siege?
well, it's funny because this game is often compared to Siege
Well,
as
it's
far as
because
the
it's trying to break into a compound, but with less tools, and I think that's what Siege has over it in
well,
that way,
yeah,
because
because
it
that's
gives
all
all the
Siege is. Yeah,
advantage to, you're at the compound, and it's like, I made it here first, which is understandable, but like, there are some of those places and some of those tools, like, so much barbed wire, so much bear traps that people literally will just spend the whole time in there, and I'm like, this isn't fun, so essentially I'll try and burst in, and of course I'll die because I don't have an angle. So
yeah,
And I think that being able to just like brick walls, of course you're not gonna punch holes through unless you're fucking shooting a nitro at it. Like,
dynamite.
well, I mean the dynamite,
Blow it up.
I would limit it to at least not being blowing up whole or blowing entire walls up and stuff. I'd limit
Just
it to
creating,
probably just
like,
the bullets. But
yeah.
Do a
just create a little bit of a
dynamite.
difference. And then like if you have certain trees or thinner trees where you can stand behind them for a while, but if they get shot 2, 3, 4 times, that tree falls down. So now you don't have that cover and now you've got to move. Like if they want to force campers to stop camping, the best way to do it would be able to take away their cover.
Mhm.
Now,
in
why the
some
hell
way.
would they do that? They've been helping campers out lately with everything they've been adding. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Shooter, right? Anyways,
What are you
yeah.
talking about? That beetle was our anti-camping mechanic.
right? Because people use that so much. People need to use it more. Beetle's actually
It
really good.
really is surprisingly
Well, it's hard
good.
because like then you can like, I don't know, you hide out and then you just hope you don't get shot occasionally. So
Yeah,
usually
but
you
that's
don't
the
use it in
risk.
that type of situation, but
It
that
gives
is
you
a
an extra set of eyes,
risk
but you're also
reward.
weak.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
I think, if anything, and I know they're still not going to do it, but if anything, they should add the fire spread physics. If anything,
Yeah,
just
fire
to
spread
make
physics,
fire bombs more viable again.
yeah, give us
Hmm.
the fire spread physics, have it, and bring back the fucking incremental burn, please. Like they had light burn, medium burn, heavy burn when the game first came out. Like if you
Mhm.
wanted somebody to burn out faster, you just threw 2 lanterns on them and fucking called it a day.
Yeah, bring that back. I didn't know that
Like,
was a thing.
yeah, back when it first came out, like you could throw multiple burn sources onto somebody and it would burn them faster.
Yeah,
Just like with bleed having the heavy bleed, you had like the light, medium, heavy. It
But
was
then
the
you'd have to
same
take away
code.
the fusies being able to burn bodies again, because that would happen.
Well, you could have each different source be limited to a certain amount. Like fire bombs can go to
make
heavy
it like a
burn. You can
fusee
have
be like
fusies be
light
light burn, and they
Right,
can't
yeah.
go
I
any
get,
higher.
I
So
get
like
that. Yeah, that
so
makes
like
sense.
you
Never
can't
mind.
stack fusies, but like you can throw 2 fire bombs and have their health burn rather than waiting 2 minutes to burn out a solo. You wait 30 seconds.
Oh, it's longer than 2 minutes.
Oh no, I've done the math. It's 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
It feels like when
It's
you're
still
playing,
too freaking
it's
long,
too
dude.
long.
It feels
It's
like an
still too
eternity, but
long.
it is only 2
Yeah.
minutes. And
Yeah,
that's why
that's-
that whole fully
that's still
cooked in
too
2
long.
minutes joke was there at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh.
Honestly, though, like, yeah, it's only 2 minutes, but when you're playing a video game, 2 minutes is a long freaking time.
Yeah, it
like that
feels
sounds
like forever.
ridiculous, but yeah.
No,
Yeah,
that makes
it
sense.
feels like forever, and I get why people
Well,
don't like waiting.
I can cross 2 compounds in that amount of time.
Well, that's what I was saying about, like, you know, when you're trying to burst into a compound and they've got, like, literally concertina and whatever just trapping themselves in there.
Mhm.
You talk about 2 minutes, like, I've had, like, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and it takes forever. It's, like, ruins the whole experience. I don't know.
Yeah, some people like that for some reason, though, so.
Well, it's because they have to win at all costs, but I don't know.
I will say there was once when I was playing with Aaron, and it was just the two of us who were fighting teams of 3s, and this team of 3 rolls up, he gets clipped right away, and then they trapped me in the building, but with concertina, they trapped me, and I was like, what do I do? Like, but the bounty was with me. They couldn't like get it, but it was like on the edge where they could get it, but if it would be risky for them, and they were just constantly peeking. And I killed them like so many times, but like they also kept damaging me, and I couldn't heal anymore. Like it was crazy. But I felt so bad because I don't like playing like that. Like where I just trap myself and I don't like it when people do that. Like I had to go over the mic and was like, "Hey guys, just so you know, I know that you didn't intend to do this. I didn't intend to do this, but like I am stuck up here." Like,
But
it was just one of those. You know.
I think that as far as like burning players, if they did an incremental burn and they had certain things only be limited to a certain level of burn, so fusies were like light, I think you could probably use like 2 rounds of Dragon's Breath to get them to medium, but no higher than that.
Yeah, I think
you could combine a fusy and a fire beetle to get medium burn, but you'd have to still use different burn sources. You could use a fusy to put pressure on somebody to get them to like push, but you wouldn't be
burning
out their player. But if it's a solo and you're like, that dude's gonna stand up again, you throw 2 fire bombs on him, he's just done. And then on top of that, if they added like the fire physics spreading, it would actually put pressure on people to just use the choke bomb faster, because if they don't, then that fire is gonna spread outside of the range of the choke bomb, and you're still gonna get burnt trying to go and save your friend.
Exactly. And it'll also, depending on the firebomb you throw at people who can necro, they'll just light themselves on fire again.
Yeah, and then like hellfire bombs could immediately go straight to the heavy burn. Like you
while burning a bar off immediately.
Yeah, it would be nice if the hellfire bombs did burn a small bar immediately on a down player, but they don't.
I guess the argument against all this stuff would be like, but it's supposed to be calm and concise, not calm, but concise, and make it so you have to rotate and do all this other stuff.
Yeah, but I would argue I would argue
force
that
people to rotate.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would argue that would force you to
because
rotate.
like, you know, if you want
people
them
burn
to
though instantly though.
I know they do, but like most people
yeah, they
are
have
just
to
using
because of
flares.
freaking necro.
Yeah, and most people are just using flares anymore or Dragon's Breath, and if they do that, it's just a light burn, so you're just adding pressure to the other team, so they might slip up and make a bad decision trying to save their friend before they start burning.
Or you might burn them, you might burn their teammate, and then they just put the pressure on you immediately because you're burning their teammate, and then you get wrecked. So
like it would bring a little bit of the like there used to be kind of an etiquette to burning players. Like if you immediately burned somebody back in the day,
you were
just being toxic.
Yeah.
But now it's like if somebody goes down, immediately burn them. Because like they changed one thing and it made it so that immediate burn is just the norm now, rather than you being toxic or just not being a good person to fight against.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like immediate burn.
I don't either.
Like when I was playing solo back then, I thought it was a lot of fun. Like, yeah, I'm solo, so I'm going to burn the second you go down, but the second I go down, I'm just out of the game. So I kind of have to take you guys out of the game. It's one of those,
I mean,
like,
solo's a little bit different.
Yeah, like it was different for solos, but like if you were in a team and you immediately burned somebody, they were like, "You're a dick." don't do that. But now
Yeah.
there's like no etiquette to burning. There's no like I'm gonna let them sit for 45 seconds or so, and then if they don't push, I'm gonna burn. Like there was it was a way to either
It was
make
an
them
unspoken
push
rule.
or to be a dick. It was just it was
Yeah.
an unspoken rule. And now that's kind of
But
gone.
now
like,
that
that little bit
Necro-
of community is just gone.
Now that Necro's here,
Freaking
that's I don't care what anyone says. That's what changed that. The self revive. That's what changed it. Now you feel like you have to burn right away.
The self revive changed it a bit.
No,
but
that is what changed it.
The
I don't care what anyone
flares
says.
being able to burn people, I think, changed it further.
Well, of course it changed it further. That's why I wasn't very happy with it in the beginning either.
I mean, I thought
but-
the flare stuff was actually made more sense, if I'm being honest, because if they're gonna keep Necro in, it was the answer to the Necro. So I always take a flare pistol. So
Yeah, I always do too.
Why would I worry about someone using Necro? Because I've got them. I've got as soon as I down them, I got their 6. Yo, dog.
Skinny.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I really like that little bit of like. There's an unspoken rule. Like new players might not know it.
Yeah, but also the problem I
older
also
players
have with
kind of stick to it.
that unspoken rule is because like there was also stuff like that with Dead by Daylight, and it's just like is it part of the game, is it a mechanic, or is it not? Because if it's not, it's just, I mean, it's common courtesy, but we're playing a game to have fun, and if I guess I'm playing to win to have fun, I guess. Well, not exactly, I guess, but
I mean, I know what you're throwing down.
Yeah, I get you. And it's more of like
because you're playing a game and
bit of
it's
community.
like, yeah, and that
you-
can be like the fun experience you have, which I think is cool and all, but I want the mechanics to speak for themselves.
Well, yeah,
The-
and it definitely should speak for itself. To me, it's more like teabagging in Halo back in the day. Like if you
I don't
didn't-
even
you-
like that, but
if
that's
you-
funny.
if you did like a slow teabag, it was a respect thing. But if you rapid fire rabbit fucked them, you
I
just
just thought that was funny.
they were
Because then you'd
like,
melee, and it would flop,
yeah, like you were just. It was one of those things where it was like either you had a good fight and you're gonna slow teabag, or you're being toxic and they're gonna start or just
I think
tunneling in
the
on
slow
you
is more
because you rapid fire
disrespectful.
fucked them.
I think the slow is more disrespectful.
It is. It should be, but I may have it backwards. But it probably was more disrespectful to go slow because you got to let your balls soak in their mouth for a minute, really let them marinate.
Well,
Also, if you teabag just twice, you went doot, like that was not like actual teabag. That's like you getting their attention too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just so
And
funny how gamers.
It was one of those just like community things that like
yeah.
after you played
The
for a while, it was like,
community's
oh,
great,
that's what it was. Okay. So it was one of those things where it's like, oh, you're a new player and you don't know what this is. Well, let me explain the lore to you of the teabag.
By rocking your shit and teabagging you.
Well, I guess
First, I'm gonna take this elite fucking energy sword, and I'm gonna have you run around with just the rifle, and I'll discuss it as I'm teabagging your corpse repeatedly.
Very weird culture.
in this game, I literally just go over the mic and play a soundbite, and it's usually something like, I don't know, Nia Squidward.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair with this game, most people, if you
Or
use
Michael
like a
Jackson
soundbite like
with
that,
Wii
they're like,
music or
that was
something.
funny. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of like me just fucking with people using voices over VoIP, like.
Yeah.
You know, that's
yeah,
just,
most people are
that's just
cool
for
with
fun.
that. Yeah, most people are like, oh no, that was funny. Like that made my death, that made me angry. Like
Yeah,
it made
and-
me laugh. You know.
And that's like that communication, which is
Yeah.
part of the game, and that's what I'm saying. That feels more like a mechanic than just like common courtesy of being like,
Right.
"Oh, you haven't pushed, so I'm going to burn your brother's body."
Yeah, it's it can be used in the game. It
Where's
can
our
be used
British
as
hunter,
mechanic.
Crytek?
There's probably
I mean, we
one.
got this Mounties,
Hackshaw's
so-
pretty much that way.
No, where's our British like big game hunter, Crytek?
Oh,
Yeah,
like
I want
like an
that and
explorer. He comes with a nitro skin.
I want fucking Tarzan's father-in-law running around in the bayou.
Clayton.
That
Clayton,
fucking
yeah.
that
Not
dude
his
from
father,
Fun,
but
fun fact. That
I said
is what he was
father-in-law.
using.
for
That
nitro.
is what he was
Oh
using.
yeah,
Was the
because it's an
nitro. Yeah.
elephant gun. Yeah, that
Mhm.
makes
No,
sense.
that was Clayton.
Yeah, Clayton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but
I don't
the
know why I
Clayton
said his
skin?
name like that. Probably just because Tarzan said it like that. But you know what?
Yeah.
Good movie.
Yeah, like-
Everybody go watch Tarzan after this
Give-
podcast. I love
give
that
Can
me-
I
movie.
have a gorilla
Give me
skin?
Guy from Jumanji in the bayou.
Jumanji.
Yo, the hunter.
Yeah. Give me him in the bayou, please, for the love of and
Oh,
for that
yeah.
matter,
And he
give
can
me
have,
my
like-
goddamn arsenal shovel for my loadouts.
And he can have like his knee high socks like hippie
Yeah.
Mario, like yeah.
And
He's
then
got,
you
like,
can
baggy
really
hips.
fucking play the role when you're running around with a nitro. Like
There
that
you
would
go.
be great, but no, we get
It's
Scarecrow
like,
guy.
good show.
Hey,
Good
Scarecrow is a
show.
good skin.
It is a good skin, but I'm just saying, like, of the skins of the time, they're like, we didn't put this guy in because he wouldn't be in the area, and then they're
Ooh.
like, at the same
Can you-
time, check
We're
out
gonna-
this Reaper.
Can
Yeah.
you imagine an
Exactly.
ivory tusk like on that nitro? Like it's carved and stuff.
Oh, that would be
pretty.
sick.
For this whole
Oh, God.
idea.
Imagine an ivory knife,
Ooh, that'd be
like
cool,
with the
too.
banding
Yeah.
when the light shines through it,
Okay,
because like
okay.
ivory has the banding through it. Oh,
Public
Yeah.
service announcement: do not hunt elephants.
No, it's bad. It's poaching, and you're a criminal,
But
and you
that
should be.
ivory's cool. that ivory stuff is really cool looking.
it's a
though.
crime now. It wasn't a crime in 1897.
Oh, it should still be a crime. You're hurting
Also,
your-
can I please get a punt gun boat? That would be great.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
would
imagine
like
one of those boat supply points. There's just a fucking punt gun on it. You're like, well, if somebody runs at me in that general direction, they will die.
those cool like blunderbuss, like.
Oh god, please give me a blunderbuss and then make its bleed ammo silverware.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh my
That's
god, that'd
awesome.
be cool.
Yeah, just
Actually,
imagine
yeah.
that. Like
We
you
just
just like
stuff
pull
a
out
bunch
a
of like spoons and forks.
and the only place you can restock it isn't even with the special ammo. You have to go to those little huts that are just littered all over the place and open the fucking silverware drawer.
that would actually be pretty
special.
dope.
Just like pull out the drawer and dump it into the barrel and then just fucking run off. Like single shot, that would be great.
That'd actually be dope.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I'm all
Chance
down-
for
I'm down
silverware.
that.
It's like a loot pool and be like, did not find silverware.
I cannot eat my beans today.
One of the challenges is kill 5 hunters with silverware.
Yeah, that would never happen. But
You get an ammo box, but it's just silverware.
And then we got. So I have another skin idea with the silverware. You got me inspired here. You have the knife skin. It's a fork, and then you have the skin's a chef from France.
yo, what? That
His-
needs to be added.
His knuckle knife is just a spatula that's like been bent into a knuckle guard, and then like he's sharpened the handle.
He like jammed his
Yo.
fingers through it.
That would be dope.
He has a throwing knife that's just like a fucked up whisk that he's like smashed flat and sharpened.
You do have to give his hat like the same physics that Mountain Man's
Yeah.
like
Well,
hat
you don't
also
even have to
has.
make it like standing up so tall. You can make it kind of flexible, where it's like actually even more loose than the Mountain Man's hat.
Make his lore that he used to be a food critic, but he got thrown out after he ate human flesh, so then he came to the bayou so that he could work on his culinary mastery.
There you go.
He's
Oh,
just
dude, that'd be
out there
dope.
hunting people and using them to cook. Oh,
That'd actually be kind of cool. Like that
Right.
kind of fits.
his fucking med kit is just like one of those knife rolls that chefs have.
Yo, yeah, bro. Like, damn, we're on fire with some of these skins tonight, man. Like, Crytek, you need to watch our podcast so you
Dennis,
can get the ideas from us.
please just
So,
take notes.
yeah.
We need a loadout shovel so that one of the skins can just be a smiley face or a stop sign, and we need Chef Man immediately. Call him Rorden Gamzee.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay.
Nah, actually, Crytek, just add like Lady Gaga as a skin or something.
There you
I don't
go.
know, like
Chad
do what
Kroger first,
do
though.
what Call of Duty trying to copy Fortnite is doing. Just try to add like those really weird skins, like so.
Chef Bayurdi.
Oh my god, dude, we are on one. Oh my god, that's genius. It's genius. That's perfect. That's
So we got our
right over
hunter
here.
skin.
This
with
is
the
what we're gonna
ivory-
name. This is what we're gonna name the podcast now.
Chef Bayurdi.
Yeah.
You know, Bard won't go for that because he doesn't.
That's
like
too
fun.
bad.
I'm
He has
kidding.
Uh,
I'm just
Well, I
kidding.
mean, he did tell me that I just need to give him a description and a title, and if I'm like, these are the only things I'm gonna give you,
That's
it-
what
the-
he's
the-
gonna roll with.
the description just says genius ideas from Rad.
Wait,
and
wait. Wait, I have an idea. It's just like the chef must serve.
Yeah, that's good.
give him the classic Italian mustache.
There you go. Well, he's French though.
Well,
Gotta
okay,
give
even
him
if
a
he's French,
French
give him that
mustache.
really long, really thin mustache that only curls at the end, like the chef from Little Mermaid.
Hey, to be fair, that was big. That was big in Western culture too at the time, so it makes sense. Like the handlebars, like yeah.
I'm amazed we haven't gotten a dentist hunter yet, because or a barber, because back then barbers were also dentists, so he could have like
And only the
teeth.
rich people could like use
Wait,
them.
what about a
he
bartender?
he could have a
No, we've
baseball
got
bat
that.
that's just
Never
one of
mind.
those like
Never mind.
those spiral poles,
Yeah,
and
I don't
like,
know. A barber's like razor would be a really cool knife. I
oh
think.
yeah, that'd be a
too.
great knife. He
Oh,
could
that
have,
would be cool.
he could have
Skin, yeah.
the baseball bat that's just the barber pole. He could have like teeth just covering whatever gun they give him.
Okay, I will not use that gun. Then that would freak me
No.
out.
Not that one.
No, but dentistry was practiced back in that time. So
Cover his med kit in
Very
teeth
crude,
so that
but-
like makes that clacking
All right,
noise that
all right,
teeth make
now-
when you open it.
now I think you tipped, man. You have nowhere to go but down with these ideas. Like
We're going downhill. No, we're not on the right track anymore.
His firebomb is just shaving cream in a bottle.
okay, that would actually be cool.
Either that or make that his choke bomb, so you throw it and it like it explodes, but like the smoke has kind of a whitish effect to it because it's
Okay,
that powder.
That's another thing I think they should do, just in general with smoke bombs. Like when they first explode, they should have some type of, like the different skins should have some type of special color or different variation, but then it just turns into the normal smoke later or something. I think that would be a nice change.
Like
just
the
quality of
green
life.
Like,
fucking alert mine.
Affecting something, though, like the gameplay itself.
That's why I say just when it explodes and then it turns into the normal.
Like the
smoke.
initial explosions, like blue or orange or something like
And
that.
then it just turns
and then
normal.
it just
Yeah,
fades to that clear.
yeah.
And then it has like literally a picture of like your hunter flipping them off or something like that.
Okay, this ain't Fortnite, but
Or Call of
not
Duty.
yet.
You set off an alert mine and the flares shoot up into the
Do you
sky and
guys-
think fast, fuck dick.
Did you guys ever see that April Fool's video that Crytek put out a few years back?
Probably not.
I remember hearing about it,
So,
but I don't think I've seen
There
it.
was an April Fool's video that they put out a couple years back, and it was like literally their other games, like the Rome one, and then like the the one about like the dinosaur and the kid, Robinson or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. But they were basically being like, coming to hunt Showdown and whatnot, and I was just like, legitimately, I want these.
That'd actually be kind of cool.
Like a Roman running around and stuff. And I know they were more messing around, or they want to keep this game towards the element they've got it to going, but
Artistic wise, yeah. Immersion wise.
which is okay. But
Yeah.
I was just like, not gonna lie, guys, I kind of was hoping this was real.
yeah, I'd probably buy it, like for sure.
Yeah, I think I don't remember it. I think it had the raptor running around or something. I was just like, hell yeah.
I'm gonna need to find this now. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I think it's a great
let
idea.
me pull it up.
We'll call it Hunt Night.
Continue on your next
Okay.
subject matter.
So Hunt's lore, and I mainly added this whole section in there because Lucas on Spotify in the last episode said, off topic, do an episode about lore, great show, keep it up.
Oh, thank you, Lucas.
Yeah, thank you, Lucas.
I think we should do that too.
So I'm this is just kind of my foray into like throwing in a little bit of lore. There were things written into the lore to explain game mechanics. Like, for example, prior to them changing the time limit from 60 minutes to 45, there was an in-lore explanation that even inoculated hunters could last no more than 60 minutes in the dead zone. Otherwise, the corruption would take over, and they would actually have to go into the lore explanation for Quick Play, which is now called Soul Survivor, where the hunters learned that clues, like when they took clues, they would like basically just travel through hell. Like it would break their fingers and then fix them. Like it was nuts. The lore explanation, they basically go through like a crazy amount of torture just picking up a clue. And then there was an opposite because of the whole, equal and opposite stuff. That well springs were the opposite of a clue, and if you absorbed 4, it would activate what was called the wellspring, and if you held it for a certain amount of time, after you activated 4 of them, it would, once its energy ran out, it would cleanse your soul, and that's how people were saving themselves from the corruption. And after a while, all the different factions in the Bayou started learning about it. They started sending their own people in there, and that's why there's a bunch of solo people fighting over these wellsprings. And the wellsprings loyalties were really liquid. Like the second you killed them, it would jump to the person that killed them, and then if its energy ran out with that person, it would fully cleanse their soul. Like it became just kind of a headhunting thing, and people would fight each other, and that kind of turned into a cycle where they'd go into the bayou, they'd spend too long out there, then they'd be like, well, fuck, I've got to go cleanse my soul.
Right.
So they'd go to whichever faction they were with, like the AHA. They'd send them out, be like, this is where wellsprings are. They'd find the wellsprings, and then people could tell where the wellspring was activated, so they'd all go fight
there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it was
It's
just
like a
like
cycle.
people. Yeah, it just turned into a cycle where they were like getting corrupted, then saving themselves back and forth. But like they'd save themselves, and most of them would try to stay out of the bayou for a while. But eventually, greed and the addiction to the pain that all of the hunters started getting from, like, they would actually get addicted to the pain from collecting a clue.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'd go back and forth. But after a while, that greed and that addiction just became too much, and they'd go back into the bayou, and then just big cycle.
Yeah.
But it seems like they've kind of that. It seems like at some point in time, I'm assuming sometime around probably when they changed the match timer. It seems like they've tried less and less to tie into the way the game works, aside from explaining how pack traits work. Like during the first tide, there was an explanation about Mariner. Like in the lore chapters, it talked about them tying the rat up in the water and then shooting her, and the water actually boiled around her to seal the wound and make her body spit the bullet out. So it doesn't really explain how it works, but it did give an explanation for how the world works. And it made sense because those reflected in the way the game played, and it just seems like they've done less trying to tie in the mechanics to the lore. I haven't gotten to read a couple of bits of lore. I didn't get to read the lore from the last event, or the event before the last one.
I mean, it's all on the internet.
It's all on
the internet. We'll
have
to mosey through it sometime.
But like the reason I think that the new map is actually going to be not in the world of the living at all is because the lore ended for this event with them going into the world of the dead.
It's not like the Bayou.
Yeah, they went through that portal that is that little glowing crack inside of
So
King Snake Mine, and that's where they found Lynch, and they started talking to Chari, and
Yeah,
so
even though he
hopefully
was
we
already
might
dead.
find
Yeah,
some really interesting map ideas coming out. If
yeah,
if your theory is correct, I think that's a great direction to go into.
and hopefully that'll mean we'll get maps faster. We won't,
yeah,
but that'd
hopefully.
be
But
nice.
it also means that the characters who have died in lore are going to be
Or coming
coming
back, like
back
Black
in the
Coat.
lore.
So
Yeah, Black
essentially,
Coat
the
was
lore
killed by his own
explains why we
daughters.
keep going through the bayou in its own sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it explains in its own way, and it was really cool to see that. But now, like with the new lore, it's more focusing on like this is what the packs are doing, but it doesn't explain why certain things
It's
are
kind
going
of
on.
going
It doesn't
back to
explain,
the middle of the bayou, is what it
yeah,
sounds like.
and
Right.
it
The
doesn't
war,
talk
in a
about,
sense.
yeah, and it doesn't talk about why the timer was reduced to 45 minutes. Like it would make sense if they were like the bayou became even more corrupted, the more the
Right.
sculptor's influence started happening, or the more influence the sculptor had in the bayou, the less
I
time
mean,
we were able to spend in there. Like
Right.
I
that
guess
would make
does it
sense, but
have
they
to
never
though?
said it outright. I just think it would be, I think it
It'd
would
be
be cool
cool.
for the lore
Yeah.
nerds like me
Yeah,
to
to
see
kind
that.
of like put everything together. I
Yeah,
understand that.
it kind of like explains how the mechanics work, and that's really cool to me. But now the lore still says you can spend 60 minutes in the bayou, but the timer's only 45.
Huh.
So
That's
maybe
all
they're
they can
saying it takes
afford.
7.5 minutes to get in and out of the bayou, and that 7.5 minutes is, in and out with the extracts. Like
I
maybe,
mean,
I
we
don't
do kind
know.
of just teleport in there.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's I think it would be kind of neat to have some sort of explanation there, just for why certain things are
Yeah, I do
happening.
think you're right about them kind of moving away from explaining things with lore. They just want to be like, hey, that's a cool idea. Let's add it.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
just put it in.
it's
Yeah.
like
Like, I
they're
think the
like,
lore ideas are there. It's just they're not
as in depth.
diving into it
Yeah.
enough.
yeah, it's like when the game first came out, they were like, we have a really cool story here, we have a really cool game, and I think it would be really cool to tie the two together and explain like this is why each match is only 60 minutes, and this is why this works, this is why this works, and then as the time went on, they were like, we have pacts now, and for some reason with this pact, water boils when they get hurt in the water, and they're okay now. It just I don't know, it was cool having that in-depth explanation, and it really showed the heart that they had for the project, and it seems like the writing team isn't as invested
they were
anymore.
Well,
Maybe
I would
not
say that
invested. I'd say
I
the
would say
focus
that
on the game.
I would
in
say that they
general.
were pushed to do other
Yeah,
things.
they're just it's because
focus on
they
other
want to
things
make the
more.
game fun in and of itself. So they're
Yeah.
trying to think of all these things. That's why they're doing the packs. That's why they're doing the random traits. They're trying to change it up in some way. I just think that's on the small scale, and that's why my go-to is change the maps. But that'll
Yeah.
always be what I'm going to say. But I don't think it's the writing team in and of itself. I
Right.
think they're still doing their job, but the gameplay, they're just like, oh, that would be really cool if we could have that. I mean, freaking, what was it, this last event? The teleportation, like, that was cool.
Oh yeah, that
I
was
don't
way
care what
cool.
anybody says. Like, it's just cool. Like,
I think
Yeah, it
I
was
think
cool.
gimmicky, but cool.
I think the best way to explain it is probably more. It feels more rushed than like it used to, because back then
Like
it
with
felt,
lore-wise type thing.
yeah, lore wise stuff. It
Mhm.
feels more rushed as far as story, because now they have to put out an entire arc of story every 3 months.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
guess
That's
that it
like
makes
there's
sense
less
they're not
time,
trying
yeah.
so hard to explain stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Um,
just need to focus somewhere.
Yeah,
I don't know.
but I will say the way that the story's going right now, it's really interesting. They've gone into
Yeah.
the land of the dead. Lynch is now back and a focus.
I would love to see this map. Like, I'm
I would
not
love to
gonna
see it
lie.
too.
If it's a map and that's what we're focusing on, I think that's a great step, because we are actually going more into the otherworldly. Who knows what kind of mechanics we could actually go from there.
Yeah.
It could really open
like
things
It
up.
opens the door.
They've had a really big
Exactly.
focus on the Delphine, which is the ship that
Bella?
No. As much
The
as
bathwater or
as much
whatever
as
it
so
is. I
many
don't know.
people would like to ride her,
She's part of
they
the
were riding
Mariner,
this ship.
right? She's part of the Mariner
That's where she
clan.
gets the bathwater.
Yeah, it goes.
But
no
but like
wonder.
they
No wonder everyone that got that died. No, I'm just kidding.
but like they had a really big focus on the Delphine, which is the
Sorry.
undead pirate captain hunter. I can't remember it. Captain Lafitte. It's his ship.
Lafitte. God damn.
I know the
These
Delphine
names,
and
man.
Lafitte. How the okay? I have.
It's
There's no
gotta be.
way that they
It's
weren't
gotta be.
making jokes
It's
with
gotta
this.
be.
Like that's there's
There's
no
no
way
way
that's
it's coincidence.
yeah. There's no way. It's just like the whole Patre being. It's the sex gun. There's no fucking way that
Yeah.
that wasn't intentional. But
Maybe not intentional, but after a while they were like, "Oh my gosh, it's this." Well, we're
Yeah,
not gonna fix that because it's perfect. It's funny. Like,
yeah, but yeah. So Captain Lafitte, his ship is called the Delphine. That ship got stuck in the world of the dead,
Mhm.
and that's how Rotjaw made it to the bayou. Like they went into the world of the dead. They found Rotjaw, who at the time was just with this random. I can't remember
I
her
thought
name for the
Rotjaw
life of
was
me.
being tested on, and essentially it was
Mm.
twisted by the Bayou.
No. So, the lore is that a girl was running away from the British, and then somehow she ended up in the land of the dead, and all she had was this egg. And then after a while,
And
like
this
she
isn't
didn't age.
This isn't the little girl that caused the whole mess in the Bayou, right? It's not the
No,
same person.
that it's a different person. So this little girl, she
Okay.
was stuck in the bayou or in the world of the dead. She only had this egg. After a while, the egg hatched and it was an alligator. And so she named it Princess, and it grew huge. It always protected her. It was the only thing in this world that grew because she didn't age, she didn't get hungry, she
Right.
didn't get tired.
Uh-huh.
And then after a while, another ship showed up just out of nowhere. She saw it and she's like, "What the fuck is that?" And like
Uh-huh.
her Princess had this like weird necrotic energy shit going on. So like she had like some kind of weird special power, and the guys on the ship found Princess and they were like, "That's our ticket home." So one of those guys made like this cage to go around her neck so they could try to harness that energy to pull them back
Oh,
into
and
the
then
world of the
drive
living.
it.
And
Okay.
and it wound up pulling them into the world of the living, which is why Captain Lafitte's there. That's why the 13th mate's there. That's why the Drowned Pact is there. Like she
Uh-huh.
pulled them from the world of the dead into the world of the living.
So they weren't
And
supposed to be here, so they're all
yeah,
dead. And so essentially, like, the Bayou sounds like it's just a place where the dead fight and continually
yeah,
fight.
and the
like a cycle.
sculptor,
Yeah.
the sculptor corrupted it, and yeah, so like it seems like the sculptor is an influence from the world of the dead that's corrupting the bayou. And the story ended as far as this last event with them like every pact going into that crack that's kind of glowing that's brand new in King Snake Mine, and that was their gateway to the world of the dead. And then they boarded the Delphine, or the Drowned Pact boarded the Delphine, and then sailed that to where they found Lynch. Chari popped into the world of the living like 3 times through a portal and talked to
Even though he's dead, yeah.
yeah, he's dead, but he popped through a portal into the world of the living and started talking to the decayed daughter, or daughter of decay. So he popped up and like basically was like, "You ate your family. That's pretty shitty." Like he popped up basically to give her shit like 5 times about eating her family and to tell her, "Yeah, your parents felt that, even though you were just eating the plants that you grew using their body. They felt it when you ate them," and then he'd like disappear.
That's pretty messed up. That's
yeah, it was
messed
basically
up,
just
dude.
him showing up to fuck with the decayed or the daughter of decay. And then it basically ended with this massive like all 3 pacts found the same place. They're all fighting at the gates to the world of the dead. The gates opened up. There's Lynch. She disappears, and then like it ends with the war happening in the world of the dead.
So I looked up the crack in King Snake Mine because I didn't know there was anything like that. That's really cool to like almost have that portal going through.
Yeah.
Connecting
It's a nice
the 2
little
worlds.
detail that people
Yeah,
probably wouldn't notice.
And then I love the comments on here on Reddit. You know, Bard's favorite place. And it's just
Don't
like
say it 2 more times; they'll show up.
But it's talking on here, like people are just being like, "Oh, this wild target's gonna be a mole person," and then everyone's like, "Behold, the Underminer."
I think the best part about it is that, like, in Devil's Moon, they were hinting that it was a snake that was going to be the next big boss, and it was like going to come from King Snake Mine. And
That'd
then they
be
were like,
cool.
"No, never mind. It's a gator. Her name's Princess." And then like they were like, "Actually, never mind. That thing that was dwelling in there. Yeah, no, we're gonna put a crack in there to get into the world of the dead, and that crack was caused by the rat and the kid coming back
Underminer.
from the dead."
Oh, it's
So-
not the Underminer.
So
The
literally,
Underminer.
literally every time we kill Raja, we're killing some lonely girl's pet. That's really
Yes.
messed up.
Yes,
Who-
that's
who
why I
basically
still call her
helped her
princess. It gives her
back
some
to-
humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this little girl's pet that she basically raised and was like a
Like
mom
she-
to this
Yeah, she
thing.
had to because that's all
She-
she had. Like,
Yeah, and she took care of it. Then these fucking sailors put this necklace cage thing on the fucking alligator, took her only friend away, and
Did she
then they were
follow
like,
them on the boat.
no, because she doesn't get to, because the necrotic energy stuff that like drains your stamina, it's not electricity, it's necrotic energy
Uh-huh.
from the lore. But
So
like
essentially
that
it's
just
slowly killing you by
teleported
taking your
her
energy.
and the ship. And so this little girl's just stuck in the land of the dead, fucking alone now for the first time in 87 years.
well, now that we're all going back, we might see more of her.
Yeah, now that we're all going
Well,
back, I hope she
or
shows
are
up
they-
again.
But I guess I have a question about that. Is like, are they basically hinting that the Bayou's the land of the dead, though?
They could
Essentially,
be, but
this,
like
It
they,
could be
it's
like a bridge.
purgatory in
Yeah.
it seems
So-
more like the Bayou's a bridge to the land of the dead. Like,
Because I really like, now that you've like got me excited, I really want to see a map of the land of the dead.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
me
pieces
too.
of the
I wanna see
bayou,
it
but
so
like
bad.
all like messed up, and the
Or-
trees
or
are
even,
like
like-
black and different
yeah,
things
or
like that.
if
or
they
even
just-
like they have like an event where, not an event, but like a weather condition, quote unquote, where like the world phases in and out of the land of the living and the dead, like they're both in the same spot at the same
We
time or
don't, I
something.
don't think
like,
CryEngine can do that anymore.
and
Maybe
I
fucking
think
No,
it'd be-
hell no.
I think it would be kind of neat if they, even if it was just like a wild card thing for it to be the, you know,
You know,
I'd want it to stay in the game, though, is what I'm saying.
well, yeah,
so.
but like,
Interestingly
you know,
enough,
have dead Lost in Delta, have dead,
yeah, different all the
Yeah!
that's what it is,
and then
alternate
it
versions.
kind of turns into like a high rule, low rule situation. Like, I'm not sure if you
Yeah!
guys played the Link Between Worlds, but yeah, have like a high rule, low rule situation where it's like a blackened, corrupted version, and everybody in it is dead, and that would explain why you can still play as dead hunters. You can still play as the Black Coat. You can still play as there's tons of characters that have died in the lore, and they're like, yeah, you can still play as them, and it would make sense that they're still around because they're in the land of the dead. They're just crossing over.
Yeah, this really opens up lore-wise. I don't know.
This is why I love the lore. It's so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
it
like
is.
when
we need to do an episode
Yeah,
about the lore.
yeah,
But,
that's what I was about to say. Like,
Yeah, especially
at
since
first,
there's interest now.
well, like especially, because like when we started this podcast, we were talking about, should we do an episode on lore, and we decided no, that like people wouldn't be interested. It would be a waste of time. Like we don't really we're not that interested either. Blah blah blah. But like, I feel like all of us maybe have kind of did a 180 on that, and I think we should do one.
I think I was fully on board for the
Yeah,
lore.
you were always
Yeah.
on board, like from the very beginning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just like, people don't like lore? What do you mean? I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
stories.
And I think a lot of it comes from like most of the lore is in the books, and you have to do shit.
And
to
that's
get
the
books unlocked,
unfortunate
and so, like,
part
people don't
is
wanna
that
read
it's yeah, exactly. But they started to do audio files, but they're so hard to come across. They need to be more front and center if we want them.
Yeah, they
to
need
get
to
into this.
they need to actually storytell and not do what Warframe does, and just like expect you to do the digging to find out the story.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
for the
Warframe
love
started
of
to move that
Sculptor,
way.
Crytek, please hire Hazmat to do the voice acting for something.
Who's Hazmat?
Hazmat FTW. He's on YouTube. He does he has a shitload of lore videos about Hunt. It's just lore.
That'd be
And
kind
He
of
he's
could be
got,
Mr.
like-
Sherry explaining everything.
He's
If he's
well, I've
gotten a
always
good
said
enough
like
voice.
make him that
Yeah.
old grizzled hunter that's talking to people after the entire event's been done and over with.
What about the
He's just sitting
tutorial
in
guy,
DeSalle bar.
Geralt?
Yeah, Geralt, yeah.
That
Bring
would
him
be
on
kind of
more.
Guys,
Well,
gonna
I
get
just-
your rifle.
even just have him be like in the voice, like the audiobook parts of the lore that we unlock. Have him read one of those as if it was like a news report or something, or some
Yeah.
dude telling
I
a
would just
story to
put it
somebody
more
who
on
showed up in
the
town.
main page, though. Make it more in our face.
Yeah,
Like if they're gonna
for
do
sure.
that, just put it more in our face, type thing. Yeah, yeah. That
But,
I think the. I was just gonna say really that Land of the Dead stuff though. If that's the future, sign me up. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
down.
I'm really excited if that happens.
need some
hope that it
changes.
happens. And I'm wondering if that's part of why they pushed for the engine upgrade, because this new engine can actually handle some of the shit that would be
Handle it, yeah.
happening
Well,
in the
That's what
World
they
of the
think.
Dead, or should be able to.
Blows up.
And I think it would be really kind of cool too if there was like some kind of mechanic in the game where like if somebody activated the banish, suddenly you guys just teleport to the World of the Dead, like the flipped, corrupted version of
Mhm.
that world.
That'd
Yeah.
be kind of cool, yeah.
Or if
And
someone
so-
activates it on the map, it takes
And that's why people
everyone
can
to
see
it.
you on the
yeah,
map
it takes
or
everybody
something,
to
like-
it, and then like
Yeah.
you know, while the banish is going on, it just spawns waves of enemies to come and fight you, like just AI while you're trying to wait for the banish to
Dude,
happen.
that would be cool! Holy
because,
crap!
because they're attracted
awesome, yeah.
to the energy of the banish. Like that would be
Yep.
awesome. I want it so bad.
It'd be similar to other games, but that's a cool addition. It'd
Yeah,
change it up a little bit.
and it would make it actually feel like an event if you were
Mini scrap
banishing all of
peeks.
these enemies. Yeah, well, like
Mini
just
butchers.
even just general AI, like have
Mini
hive
spiders.
spawn and have like
Well,
you know,
okay.
a bunch of grunts and they're all just rushing the
I think-
compound. So
I
now you
think
have
if
to fight
they-
a horde.
I think if they add something like that, they would have to be a different type of mob because
Like a
the
shadow
hives and the
version almost.
zombies, yeah, they were already there. They're turned people. Like
Yeah,
it wouldn't
or-
create more. It would.
Well, with it being the World of the Dead, it could even be like, you know, you can see the ghosts while
Demons
you're
of
fighting the
sorts,
boss, but
yeah.
the second that it flips after you banish, there's these like spectral shadow enemies that you have to fight while you're waiting.
That they act
Yeah.
like zombies. We're getting
Yeah.
a bit ahead of ourselves because we
Yeah.
know that
So
none of this is.
Let's push
we-
this
we
somewhere
know
to where
Yeah,
we
we'll
none
can
of
push this to
this-
another
talk
episode.
about this.
None of this is going to be added to the game anyways. So,
But I would say let's definitely like have something like some conversation like this in the future, and
Yeah,
For
well,
I
especially
love
if we're gonna
talking
get
about the
more into lore.
It's
Yeah.
and just
awesome.
like getting into creativity
Yeah,
and
let's-
different things like that. That's
let's
awesome.
let's definitely start putting in the work to do like a lore episode. And we might have to split into parts because there's a lot of lore over the past several years. So, but I
there
think
you
that
go,
that's something
Lucas.
we should do.
You're getting your wish, all because I decided that we needed a third topic, and it was all going to be lore.
Yep.
But so for our closing
You are our
thoughts right
pog
now,
champ.
yes, yes, Lucas for president. So
Bow
for our
down to the
closing
savior.
thoughts, we've got the results of the poll for episode 13. Oh wait, no. So first we had the question, and it was what was your favorite Hunt Showdown memory? We only had one response aside from off topic. Do an episode about lore. It was from a cunning rogue. He said, I killed 2 Kane Sparks snipers with a Nagant Precision Deadeye with bleed ammo way out of the range I should have killed them from. Thanks for the shout out, guys. Happy hunting.
There you
Oh
go.
yeah, happy
That's
hunting,
awesome.
buddy.
I'm glad
And
you
then,
took out those
I'm-
canes.
I'm glad you took out those freaking
Yeah.
canes with sparks.
If,
with
if I could
something.
shake your hand, I would.
They deserved it.
I think we're gonna make this guy president as well. So,
Yeah.
you know,
With
I think
2
we're gonna have to
presidents.
make everyone-
Yeah,
2 presidents. this time.
presidents.
We're switching it up.
Okay, president
Bayou
of the Hunt
presidents.
Showdown AHA committee.
yes, yes.
It's just the HBE AHA committee.
Hell yeah.
Habehakaka.
Yes.
So then the poll was, how long have you been a Hunt Showdown player? We had 2 people vote for less than a year at 15.4%.
Oh, glad to have
We
you here.
had 1 person vote
Yeah.
almost 2 years
Awesome.
7.7%. Nobody voted about 1 year. And then 2 years plus, we had 10 votes at 76.9.
So it seems
we
like
all like masochism or whatever the other one
Yeah,
is. I don't know.
yeah.
We're hurting ourselves.
Yeah. we I
Much
mean
like
that's
a good steak, we're all well seasoned.
that is
Yeah, we're all
interesting though, because
well-seasoned,
that means the player base is mostly consistent. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
on you guys for
it-
sticking around and at
Yeah,
least
keep
enjoying
going.
the best of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it'll be kind of interesting this one too, because we'll see how many people are like, I kind of want to make the question, what's your favorite lore part of the story? Because then we
Yeah,
can see how many people
yeah.
have actually paid
I
attention.
think that's a
It's
great
like-
idea.
Yeah, I think that'd be
Let's
really
do it.
neat. But yeah, I think that'll be all for us tonight, everyone. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with us today. I'd like to throw a quick shout out to Hunt Lowdown and Waiting for Other Players, our fellow Hunt Showdown podcast and good friends.
Yeah, watch them.
Um,
They probably have better takes than we do. So
Yeah, and I mean they're
Maybe.
both great, fantastic podcasts. I listen to them all the time. I feel weird saying that I've listened to every episode of this podcast, including the ones I've been in, Hunt Lowdown and Waiting for Other Players, at least twice, if not more. But yeah, go check them out. They're fantastic. So much fun to listen to.
Yeah, definitely. And
Uh,
it's like me. I haven't listened to any of our podcast episodes. Once I record it, I'm done. Like,
See, I listen to them because I'm like, okay, where could I go better? What, like, am I saying too much, or did I say one thing too many times? First episode I was in, I could tell I was nervous because I said I love that so much, like 9 fucking
I love
times.
well, hey man, you loved it. So what's
I
the
did.
problem?
You loved it. I love that
But
too.
until next time, remember, if you find yourself in a fair fight, your tactics probably suck. And as always, Tyler,
Stay hunting.
stay
And-
hunting.
Stay hunting.
Be flaky.
Yeah. Yum. Except if you use necro with your necroflakes. Mm-mm.
Your necroflakes
Hey,
now?
it's necroatmeal and banished
Thank
flakes.
you.
Oatmeal,
Thank you. That's
banished
what it is.
flakes.
Excuse
I
me.
only have banished flakes in the morning. If I ain't banishing, I ain't,
You want to finish
an
that?
egg in the bayou, with my alligator buddy,
All right, everybody, stay hunting.
Stay
Love
stay
you.
hunting.
Bye.
Catch you later.